You know, I have to say that personally, I quite like the ability to fall to nothingness, basically, and then to rise up like the phoenix from the ashes. Welcome back to our Vlandian Night adventures. If you missed the previous episode, I'd highly recommend checking it out just purely for your own, well, for your own information, really, and to how we even got to this point, because I, well, lost everything. And you'll see exactly what happened in that episode. It was not particularly good. Not particularly good. Anyway, we're here at Arzagus here, and I intend to use the banner to help destroy the Empire. Then I will tell you what I know. I heard about one other piece. I do not know what the other pieces are. You may need to keep searching for them. All right, so thank you very much. There you go. We've now gotten some information from him, and there we go. All right, so we also need to meet with Istiana, and there was actually someone that told me that the quest was getting a little bit on, a little bit on with everything, and so I decided, hey, you know what? It's probably going to be a good idea for me to try and deal with that. So what I'm going to do first. We do have a number of parties actually still intact, amazingly enough. Oh yeah, by the way, I was able to retrieve most of my companions. As you can quite clearly tell, I went to basically every single town that was nearby, with the exception of the ones in the north. So in other words, Balgard and stuff like that. And we're going to just do a little bit of this. We're just going to do a little bit of this. We're just going to, put them out into the world and get a couple more parties, and hopefully they're going to do okay. We'll see. We'll see how they do. But no doubt you can tell I have a lot of food. I've been running around trying to get as much food as I possibly can. And, look at that. We're getting some more people that might actually be able to join us as well. I'm actually wondering, isn't there an easy way for me to... Yes, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, these guys are still prisoners at Omor, which I'm not a big fan of. You can see here that we have a number of other people that are not actually with us. So what I can do is I can speak to them if I can actually find which ones they are. Now that's the main issue here, because if you can find which ones they are. So for example, this guy, Mertion Scarlet, if I can find him and he is free and not a prisoner with anyone, then what I can do is basically this. Boom. And then he becomes a party immediately at Sibir, and I don't have to worry about him whatsoever, and I don't even have to go and get him, to be honest. So Varmond the Bold, he can also become a free party, boom, like that, just instantly, and I don't even have to speak to them. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. All right. So otherwise, basically what I did was I went into my garrison and I just pulled out a bunch of the highest tiered units that I could find, and that was pretty much it. I know a bunch of people actually did say that you'd like to see a companion-only army, and I think we're going to try to do that. We're definitely going to try to do that, but it really depends on a number of factors. It depends on how many units we actually can have, because obviously, I think you commented that when we had, I don't even know how many we had, I think 75 or something like that. And it would be very cool to see it. But maybe, you know what? Maybe what I might do is I might make like a mini-series or something like that, where we literally just run around with a companions-only army. And I think someone said that maybe that would be kind of like a challenge sort of thing, and I think that would be quite fun to try that out. So I think I'll try to leave it the way it is for now with Bruce currently, because obviously we have basically a third of the companions that we would have had otherwise. So that's very unfortunate indeed. Anyway, I think we're going to be getting the banner pieces. And I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I should have gone in there. Oh, I'm an imbecile, aren't I? Yes, I definitely should have gone in there. Well, never mind. I guess we'll just have to do what we can here. mountain bandits? Do I need to worry about mountain bandits? Not really, right? I shouldn't need to worry about them, at least. Hopefully one of their group will leave relatively soon. As you can see, more people are escaping from captivity. Very nice to see that. And, well, the relation increases that we get from these parties running around are substantial, and they are literally increasing at an exponential rate. It's so crazy. I have no idea how that is even possible, but I'm very, very pleased that it is. So yeah, we'll see what we can do here now, because obviously we haven't really fought that many hideouts in this particular series, and I don't know why that is either, to be honest, because hideouts are very lucrative in the grand scheme of things, but I think I ignore them for the most part because there are many other ways of gaining cash, gaining experience, and, well, I suppose that's the nature of Sandbox, isn't it? You can decide what you want to do. The player has the utmost control in what you want to pursue in various ways. So if you want money, well, there's many different ways to get it. You can raid a village, you can do a tournament, you can go trading if you so desire, or you can just be like me and be a little bit lazy and literally just kill looters and more looters, and then do some smithing, you know, because obviously smithing is also very lucrative too. And speaking of that, actually, I did have a number of crafted javelins still left over in my inventory. I don't know why. I really don't know why that they left those with me, but they didn't leave pretty much anything else. They took all the horses, they took all the king's men, and they took all, you know, they couldn't put him together again. So, you know, they did all of that. I'm sorry. It just got away with me. It really did. The old Humpty Dumpty, yes. It certainly did. You know, if you lead into it, you know, if you lead into one of those references, you just gotta let it go. You know, you just gotta let it fly right out into the atmosphere, and then everyone can shoot it down, because that's what happens. Anyway, we're doing fine, as you can quite clearly tell. We are doing perfectly fine, and we've got Nevik. Look at that. We've got Nevik the Stallion. What makes him a stallion, I wonder? Who knows? Simia Scarlet. Ah, yes, well, that's the thing. Amusingly enough, their names are very culturally based. I don't know whether you've noticed that, but they are very culturally based. For example, Scarlet is obviously something to do with Vlandia, because Vlandia is indeed red, crimson, scarlet, you know, whatever you want to call it. So I'm actually going to do a one-on-one duel with this guy, because I think it would be fun. He's gonna be supernaturally good, isn't he? Yeah, yes, never mind. 87 damage to the face. That is really not gonna help. And look at this. We have gained our first new soldier. And, okay. Apparently the Sturgian culture is to call yourself Blag the Hammer. What is he gonna blag me? Yeah, if you don't know that slang, blag is basically another word for sell. Well, you know, it's kind of a slang term in England. I think it's mostly in England, and yeah. So blagging, you know, you're gonna blag that for me, you know, sort of thing. So in other words, you're gonna blag. You know, that, yeah, well, you get it. You get the point. Anyway, I don't know whether I really want to be taking all of these peasants, to be honest. I think I'm actually just going to leave them. I will take the highwaymen, though, because they can be recruited over time. I will take all of the loot, even though I am now, even though I now have my limit to be exceeded. All right, so there we go. We found another piece. So that is nice, and it's hilarious how the hideout is still standing. You can see that. It's another entity on the world map, hilariously enough. But anyway, let's go in here, see if I can buy some more horses. Yes, I indeed can. Thank you very much. And one single piece of Thamaskene steel. Gotta say, I'm very pleased to have that single piece of Thamaskene steel. Thank you so much. And otherwise, we were just gonna sell this stuff. And we'll sell these crafted javelins because I'd like to get more money from Epicrotia. Thank you very much. And we will now move on. But I would like to find a village specifically that has horses, and I believe there is actually one over in this direction. Oh yes, this is, by the way, what is happening on the world map right now. We are pretty much at peace with everyone. That's the reason why I'm doing the banner quest, because we are going to need to do that, and it might very well ramp things up in terms of intensity. And maybe people will actually start to be more aggressive, if you could believe it. Them being more aggressive towards us. I don't know. Anyway, ooh, Northern Empire wanting to declare war against us, or technically we're declaring war against them, of course. So let's take him down. Let's take him down. All right. And who's that? Oh, that's actually an enemy now. Ooh, am I faster than they are? I might actually be faster than them because I am a very small army in comparison. Yes, I believe I am. Oh, yes. Uzlav, you will be murdered, sir. Oh, yes. You will be murdered in just a very quick second as long as I can catch up through the trees. And, Fenton, leave it alone. Fenton, just give up the chase. Ah, never mind. Apparently he's actually wanting to speak to us here. Okay, so he is obviously not the leader. So let's do this. Let us attack. This is going to be probably one of the only vassal battles that we get our hands on while I make my way over to the horse village. Obviously, not going to show you that, I don't think, because I think that that's a little bit tedious, and, you know, you've seen me buy things many, many times over, so it's probably not really necessary to be shown. But I like to generally... that's the thing. I have the ability to pretty much just edit whatever, right? You know, I mean, obviously, it's a very simple thing to just cut something out. But the thing is, I like to show the journey. You know, showing the journey and showing how I got to this particular point is something that I think is quite important, because for those of you that want to play alongside me, or maybe you're just starting to play Bannerlord, or you're starting to play a Mount and Blade game, and maybe you want a little bit of a tip here or there, or you want to figure out, hey, how did you get to this point, you know, sort of thing. And that's generally the reason why I may keep in a lot of these various little tedious points that may seem like they're tedious, but they're actually a little bit informational, potentially. But obviously for those of you that are much more experienced in the world of Mount and Blade, then you can potentially just, you know, skip ahead. You can press L on your keyboard to skip ahead 10 seconds. What do you bet? Are you gonna do that actually? I actually wonder whether you did that, because now I'm just starting to speak again, and that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? It's literally just like, okay, I'm not going to speak for another 10 seconds until, you know, you've pressed L, and then you can press J to go back 10 seconds if you didn't know, and K is pause. So, yeah, if you didn't know all of those little shortcuts, then, well, now you do, and now you can have a much more comfortable browsing experience when trying to find something in a video. Oh, yes. It is much more comfortable, especially for me too. Okay, so let me actually just get my cavalry to come up here. I think we probably have the victory here, because let's face it, the combat strength is just overwhelming. I'm going to just charge here because I want to make sure that the opponent does not get out of the water. We want them to be slowed as much as they possibly can, and otherwise we're just going to move our cavalry over to the side here. I mean, it doesn't really make that much sense to charge them into the water, but we're going to do it nevertheless because the enemy is trapped. They are completely and utterly devastated, and they pretty much have nowhere to run. And if they do want to run, they're going to be way too slow to be able to do that. So there you go. Yes. I actually would have liked a much larger party here, to be honest. I would have loved... Oh, that's weird. I would have loved a larger army to fight there, but that... Did you see that? Mikri Scarlet. He was a Sturgian, but he has the name Scarlet. Okay, never mind. Throw out all of my theories regarding the cultural naming of things. That apparently is not actually happening, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but all right, okay. Perfectly happy to just take all the loot, and then we'll head on to the horse village. A horse village without any horses. Have you seen that? Look at this. They have no horses, but they do have grain. Wait a minute. Is this actually the grain village? And I'm actually going to... Yes, it is indeed the grain village. I misclicked. All right, this is the horse village. Aha, fantastic. Okay, you didn't see that. You didn't see that. Okay, there we go, there we go. Give me all of these. Oh, yeah, there we go. That is what I'm talking about. Very nice indeed. Get my carrying capacity up again because I don't know whether you noticed, but back, you know, before the incident... I did actually have about 20,000 carry capacity, and I'd like to have about, probably about 15,000, maybe 16,000. Again, that would be very, very good and nicely advantageous for us. Okay, so there you go. That was nicely done, and Thorgood has finally escaped from his captivity, and we have a number of people potentially here as well that I can take into my party. That is nice. And we don't have, I think this one, yeah, no, wait a minute, he's a wanderer. So I guess we're actually going to be speaking to him because maybe he's a party? He's probably a party guy. Oh, I can actually say to take these companions into your party. Are you serious? You can literally make a party from a companion, which obviously we know you can do that, but then you can put other companions into that party. Oh, you know what's coming now? It is, yo dog, I put your companions into your companions so that you can companion while you companion. Yes, there you go. That is what was coming. Anyway, now that facepalm is all over with, we're going to be moving on. And we're probably going to go over to the hideout over here, try and take that. I don't think there's anyone even inside there. Is there? There's a bunch of people here as well that we can indeed recruit. Let's take them. There we go. That is nice to see. And I'd actually like to sell some stuff, if at all possible. I wonder if they have any... Yes, they do. Very nice indeed. Let's just sell all of this. Really? The armor literally only gives me 1,900? Okay. I have a number of weapons as well. I would like to be able to smelt those. So maybe it would be a good idea for me to keep on top of that this time, because beforehand that didn't really happen. I bought some hardwood, by the way, at one of the nearby villages. I'm going to smelt this, and then we're going to be very careful not to smelt the crafted javelins. Don't be surprised if I smelt one by mistake, because that happens to me all the time. But anyway, let's see if I can just get rid of all this. We're getting look at how much raw material we're getting already. That is insane. The amount of raw material that you can get from smelting weapons is fantastic. Don't change it, developers. Don't change it. They're probably going to, if they see this, they're going to change the amount that you get. So shh. Just be quiet. Just be quiet about that. We do not want that. We do not want that, because then smithing is going to be, well, not so useful potentially. But yeah, they're probably going to change it anyway. So, you know, maybe I can speak at a normal volume then. But still, I think it would be kind of sad if they changed, you know, more stuff about smithing and everything. But I guess it is quite powerful at the moment, as you know. But anyway, we're going to declare war against the Western Empire once again, because obviously we're not at war against anyone right now, so it makes sense. And the Sturgians are also going to be declaring war on us because they are currently in an alliance with the Western Empire. All right, so as you can no doubt tell, the Northern Empire is pretty... Well, they're pretty much on the back foot, as you can see. They only have Amitatis and Diathma and Argeron, and I think most of those will be relatively simple for us to take, actually, if you can believe it. Anyway, I'm just going to tell my people to charge in. We can also tell them to not hold fire so that they can just fire at will, and hopefully we'll be able to win here quite soon. You know what? I'd actually like to see a small quality of life improvement for dealing with bandit camps. I'd like to see an auto-resolve button, because let's face it, when we are at this point in the game, we are pretty much in the late game. I would say we're pretty much in the late game now, and in general, do you really want to be going into a bandit hideout where there are basically a grand total of like 10 bandits that you're very easily going to be able to deal with, even if you're not playing with Bannerlord Tweaks and you have tier 5, tier 6 units in your army? you're very easily going to be able to achieve victory against them. So I think an auto-resolve button that will obviously limit the amount of units that you can use in that auto-resolve, because if you could use your entire army, then obviously that would be a little bit too harsh, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be a bit too harsh. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like it should really be the case where you can just auto-resolve if you quite clearly have an overwhelming combat strength advantage. It would save a lot of hassle and, you know, tedium and so on and so forth. So that would be quite nice, but obviously it's a very minor nitpick at this point from me. So anyway, I'm going to speak to Arzaghos because we would like to destroy the Empire, as you do. You know, you'd like to destroy the Empire. I've gathered all of the pieces. Clearly you've been chosen by heaven for a great purpose. I see the makings of a new legend here. Allow me to call you Bannerlord. Oh yes, they went there as well. Yes, if you haven't seen that before, I'd recommend watching the original Bannerlord series with Mr. Barney Beartail himself. It fully covers the entirety of this quest line, and you get to see more of the text and so on. Okay, how do I create my own kingdom? How can I support an existing kingdom? You should join the kingdom that you wish to support by talking to the leader. Your clan must be independent of any current realm. Your clan must have a significant amount of renown. You must gather a considerable amount of men. I don't know whether I can do any of these. About giving the banner to an existing kingdom. I'm the ruler of... Yeah, there we go! What? It actually works. Okay, I'm actually kind of surprised. I did not think that I would be able to do that. I did not think that the mods would be able to interact in this way. That's really cool. I'm the ruler of the Vlandia. Let's just you know, get over that. I shall bear. Aha, Beartail bearing. Yes, the dragon banner. Okay, let's do it. In your hands proclaims you the avenger of the Empire's crimes and its successor. All right, there we go. We did it. Okay, so now what we need to do is weaken the Empire. Actually, I am unsure whether the developers have done anything in regards to the main storyline. Personally, I feel like the game does not need a main storyline. I feel like past the, shall we say, past the simple-ish tutorial teaching you about all the various aspects of the game, I don't think you really need any other direction. Obviously, if they want to have some flavor text here and there, and they want to increase the lore of the game world, then I think that that's a really cool way to do it. But personally, I feel like tying game events and the way that the AI will react to you and so on and so forth to a storyline might not be the best idea, especially for a sandbox game, but who am I to say? Who am I to say? Maybe it's going to turn out really nicely, but right now I feel like it is a little bit drawn out, potentially. I feel like the whole thing with the banner and having to actually do that, you know, instead of just automatically having the ability to, you know, proclaim yourself the emperor or something like that. I mean, maybe you could even have an option to proclaim yourself emperor even without the banner, and then everyone is going to be really mad at you, and that could be a challenge in itself. Who knows? But yeah, what we're going to do first is I'm actually going to call for an army here. Whoa, we've got some really large armies running around. That's so cool. Okay, so this guy's going to join us, this guy. Let's get these people as well. These are all 1 day away. These are really close by. That's super good. And Varmont is a little bit too far away for my liking, so I will just take 1,700. Just a smallish army. Yes, he says, just a smallish army. Okay, so we're going to try and take this castle as soon as we possibly can. And non-aggression pact. Okay, that's perfectly fine. They're probably going to declare war on us, or we'll declare war on them at least. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we're getting some more people that will be escaping from captivity, and a number of people that are actually going to be attacked. As you can see, Varmont is being attacked right there. But as I've said before, if you take a look at your clan member list, and then you go over to your parties, you can basically just make a party instantly without having to even go to that person's location, which is fantastic. It is very cool that that is indeed possible. I think that's the manage remote companions function, I think, doing that, but I could be wrong. Anyway, our engineering skill is actually almost 250, which is crazy. So I'm going to very much look forward to getting that. Wait a minute, let me actually just take a quick look and see, because I don't know what the trait is at 250 engineering. Oh, we actually have 100 roguery skill. More loot from enemy. Really? Do we need more loot from enemies? Yes, I think we do. Thank you. Oh, yes, we certainly do. Okay. Building development speed increased to 1.5 times the normal. That's pretty good. Default town projects. Oh, wait a minute. Is that governor? Oh, that's governor. Okay. Personally, I don't agree with this. I don't really like the whole deal with having to appoint a governor, and the governor has to be stationed in that particular town. I like the functionality of that, don't get me wrong. I like the functionality of that, but I don't like the fact that the player character has only one basically talent tree to go through and has to take these governor related traits, because let's face it, as a player, you're never really going to be staying still for that long. So being in a town or something like that doesn't really make sense. All right, so I'm going to spec into smithing once again. And we're going to spec into social. And there you go. We have everything maxed out with the exception of control. And, well, I'm pretty happy about that, to say the least. All right, so let me see if I can maybe do something here. We have a decent amount of people, and we just need to get the walls down. Ooh, it looks like Amatatis was just taken. Oh, now that is a very large capture right there, and I am extremely pleased to award it to Kareth. Oh yes, we love Kareth. I actually just spent a little bit of influence to increase his relation, because his relation was -7, which I'm not a big fan of, thank you. We do not want him to be defecting at any point, so we're going to try and, you know, keep him here as much as we possibly can. He is, in my opinion at least, one of the better vassals, even though you may not think it on paper. I just personally feel like his personality type, if it's the same, that is, if it's the same than it was in the Byron series, then it's definitely someone that you want to keep around, because he was loyal through and through until everything had crumbled to the ground in the Byron series, and then we rose up once again, and we just absolutely, well, you can watch that series if you want to see all the well, shall we say it's basically a roller coaster ride, because we have huge amounts of different events happening in that, and then all of a sudden we just go, look, there you go, now we're doing pretty well, Now we're doing pretty well. Oh, never mind, just lost it. Now it's better, now it's better, and now, maybe not, and so on and so forth. It's a very cool journey, in my opinion. It's probably one of the better ones. Obviously, didn't I speak about Pelisor, the trader, in the previous episode? I think so. And that one was also great. I'm not entirely sure which one's my favorite, to be honest. Which one's your favorite? If you've seen multiple of the series, which one's your favorite? Because that's always very interesting to me. I know that a bunch of people may not be too big a fan of the trader gameplay, and that's perfectly understandable, because it is very passive in the way that you do battles, because you don't generally do battles with the trader. You're generally affecting the game world in more of a hands-off approach, although in some ways you're actually strong-arming people very harshly indeed, and you're doing it in such a way that they don't even realize, That's the reason why I thought it was quite enjoyable, because the time that you literally speak to a guy and you're basically like, hey, I'd like this fief of yours, and then he goes, okay, how much are you willing to pay me for it? And then you give him a figure of whatever it may be. You say, hey, I'm willing to give, I don't know, 200,000. And then he goes, wait a minute, that's way too much. That's way too much. Well, I don't want 200,000 for that. You can give me 50 for it. And then you're like, what? He's willing to part with this fief for 50,000? That's a bargain. I'll take it. And then you literally just go and you take it, and that's it. So it's really, really fun to have that kind of feeling where you have the freedom to basically be like, I will buy this, I will buy that. you know? So if you don't have that in real life, like I don't, then you can definitely have it as a trader, Mr. Pelisor, you know? Just imitate Mr. Pelisor. That is what you want to do, you know, anytime. Although not in his early stages, let's say that. Not in his early stages. Anytime other than that, then yes, you probably want to emulate him a little, especially in the Trader series at least. But not in the Barney Beartailed series, not in the original one of Bannerlord, because that's going to show him in a pretty poor light, to be fair. Someone who can never level up. I actually wonder whether that means that he can't age. Does that mean he can't age, or is he just so much of a buffoon that he can't gain any skill points? Because I think he was actually gaining skill points, but he just wasn't capable of leveling up because he had negative skill points, if you can believe that. Yeah, because if you don't know, the backstory of Mr. Pelisor is basically that I did a quest, namely it was Family Feud, and if you know anything about me, you'll know that I am pretty awful at Family Feud. So, knowing that, basically what happened was I started absolutely failing at this particular quest, and as a result, I had the NPC Mr. Pelisor in my party, and I basically failed it. I didn't even go to where the quest needed to be done. You know, I didn't even go to where it needed to be completed, because I was just not really knowing either way about where I should go and what I should do at that point. And as a result of the quest basically running out of time, because I think you only have like 4 or 5 days to complete those, I was stuck with the NPC in my party. And I took a look at his stats and everything. His stats were awful. They were basically the lowest of the low. And thus the legend of Mr. Pelisor began. And yeah, so that's basically it. And he had, as I say, he had negative skill points, which is just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, so there you go. We were able to take Ataconia Castle. I will actually be disbanding the army now. And I will be creating some more parties in my off-screen time too. Anyway, that will be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.